Take it all in. This is an honor to be part of day one. Sports Map Radio gets easier by the second, as you say, right? And lineup hasn't changed. It's just a matter of how great of a moment this is across the board for everybody involved with this network. Right up to the top, mind you, which we have bumped John McMullen today. Now, I'm back, and I know my wedding and Ron grilling me on all that is going to happen probably, I would imagine, at some point, maybe not even today, because wait until you hear what we have coming up for you in a matter of minutes. It's insane right now. Mike Martz will join us at 11:40 a.m. Eastern time. Warren Moon is going to join us an hour from now. And then David Gow, our leader, CEO, man in charge who runs everything, Gow Media, at Sports Map Radio. Just continue to pound that. You can stream sportsmap.com. And I also see that an old friend was on the network earlier, but we're jammed. So we've had to bump John McMullen for David Gow, and nobody has any problem on this show doing that. That was an easy decision. Sorry, John. Warren Moon, Mike Martz, lot to talk about with the NFL because they're up next. And I don't mean as far as returning. I mean as far as a plan. Major League Baseball might be canceled by the time we get to Warren Moon. I know the Phillies game tonight here is canceled against the Yankees, rightfully so. I know the Marlins game in Florida, their home opener, canceled against the Orioles, rightfully so. I got my wedding in before Phillies-Yankees. Amazing. Oh, listen to that.
20 seconds.
I love it. Everything sounds so fresh, ramped up. Welcome to Sports Map Radio.
10 seconds.
This is the second level. I guess we'll talk about the wedding.
The only people have been complaining about is that there's no ramp up to the music.
That little blue pill that everyone is talking about?
I was wondering,
or are you tired of paying outrageous prices for the original Viagra? Write this number down.
Why?
Now.
What is that? Just hasn't been put in, or
no? That's the outro bed.
At huge discounts.
I'm confused.
You don't have to pay $15.
Isn't that the outro bed for everything?
Yeah.
So what are you saying? There's no ramp up
and get.
There's no like like in the old one there was kind of cues. That's what everyone's been complaining. There's kind of music cues that where you can tell where you are in it. You can tell like when it's going to end soon.
Got it. This is just a continuous bed.
Yeah.
That's why.
888-505-2666. If you're tired of pharmacies charging you $750 for 50 pills, now you don't have to. This is your chance to get 50 blue pills for only $99. But supplies are limited and won't last long. Call today, 888-505-2666. That's 888-505-2666.
This year, biology might be in a third-floor lab or it might be in your own kitchen. But no matter where school happens for you, Staples has everything you need at amazing prices. From the latest tech and backpacks to hand sanitizer and notebooks. This week, Apple AirPods Pro are only $199. You save $50 and shop any of our convenient, safe options. In-store, curbside pickup, or order online. School on, save on. At Staples. Ends 8/1/20. Limit 2 while supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows. So when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
We're all in uncharted territory, looking for ways to support our communities. At Dell Technologies, we're making sure small businesses have the right tech solutions.
Man, I know.
Dell Technologies advisors are here for you, from helping small businesses stay connected and productive while working remotely with Windows 10 and Microsoft Teams, to rapidly deploying remote work solutions that limit upfront costs with Dell Financial Services. We're standing by you every step of the way. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Kane is in the building.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Just looking at where we are right now in sports, and then we'll talk about this amazing lineup we have. Mike Martz, Warren Moon, David Gow from Gow Media. It's going to be ridiculous today as we open up a new chapter in this network. But baseball has canceled 2 games tonight as a result of an outbreak in the Miami Marlins clubhouse. And when you hear a little more of these specifics, if you haven't already, or if you're just joining us via me on the multiple channels, then yeah, it's pretty mind-boggling that we've reached this point. But Major League Baseball has, not that they've canceled games, but how they reached that point. Major League Baseball said no to the Phillies Yankees game tonight, rightfully so, because the Phillies were in contact with the Marlins. Marlins have 14 people confirmed COVID-19 tests, and no way they could travel. They're still in Philadelphia. No way they could head back to Miami and then take on the O's for their home opener. Not going to happen. So there's a big discussion right now about what Major League Baseball should do. There's also Lou Williams and the NBA dealing with a player who broke quarantine, spotted at the strip club, and now there is concern about anybody, not just Lou Williams, but anybody who would return from the bubble, quarantine or not, sneak in or not, validated or not, get in and out, or sneak somebody in. There's just so many ways in which that bubble could crumble. And if you don't know, I hope you can understand at least that the bubbles work for the most part when you're confining it to limited as much, right, as humanly possible of play. So Major League Baseball through 162, not going to work in 3 bubble cities. Right now, 60 games, 3 bubble cities. They could. I don't know if they have the time without putting this thing on pause. But we're at the start of the season, the very beginning of the season. This isn't like with Rudy Gobert and the NBA where they were doing contact tracing to determine Christian Wood or the Pistons, other people, because, well, they played against a team that played against a team. Not like that yet. The only thing, there's just one little thing that Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball, the owners, would push them to come to this decision to cancel the season. And that would be, well, what happens when this happens again? I don't know how they get around that. They haven't opted for the 3 bubble cities. NFL can. We'll get to that, I promise. My plan's up there on Twitter at Shander Show, so you can follow along. And if you're watching on Twitch, twitch.tv/Shander Show, you can see the new ring. So this is proof. I didn't Photoshop any of those pictures. I was actually there. This is the real ring. Major League Baseball, I don't think, should cancel. And again, I don't think anybody has the definitive answer, including the people who would make this decision definitively. There is no real blueprint at all for what to do. But if Major League Baseball feels that it's going to be a PR nightmare / opening themselves up to be gutted by the players union, if this happens multiple times over, then it might be enough. It might be enough for Manfred and everybody to turn around and say, we can't do this. We can't afford the lawsuits. We can't afford the grievances. We can't afford what can come from this. It might take 10, 15, 20 years to get all that money, but they'll be locked up in litigation. It's a lot. And we're not talking again about a labor dispute. They already went through that. Now it's upholding the bargain that the players agreed to with the league, that the players would be kept safe. And now you see, well, all right, 14 players, Miami, or 14 people, Miami, some coaches in there. That's a problem. This is from The Athletic, and this should stamp or solidify at least, if not completely just change over any type of disagreement here. But I'll read it for you, all right? Multiple sources confirmed the Marlins played despite having 3 players learn Sunday that they tested positive for COVID-19 just 2 days after a 4th player learned of a positive test on Friday. 2 infectious disease specialists told The Athletic on Sunday those positive tests fit the definition of, quote, clear outbreak of the virus within their team. But sources said those tests were not enough for either Major League Baseball or the club itself to give serious consideration in postponing this game. And to make matters worse, this is me, back to The Athletic, Marlins manager Don Mattingly said his team, quote, never really considered not playing. The club's most respected veteran shortstop, Miguel Rojas, told the media afterward, all 30 players discussed the situation Sunday morning, but said not playing was, quote, never our mentality. Well, let's work in reverse. That should never be left up to a player. Well, 6 guys have concussions. You treat it like any other injury in that regard. No player you should ever be in that situation. There's way too much at stake for a player in a professional setting. And you can use the extreme example of the NFL, or you can reel it back, but way too much there, by all means, to put it on the players. That's ridiculous that the players would even have any impact on it. This is about keeping them safe, preventing them from themselves as professional athletes. And you would think, well, come on, common sense, one of your guys has COVID. No, not so much. Not so much if you can move on and wiggle your way around it and still collect a check. Or still keep some guy who's 6-7 years younger than you, who's just waiting to take that position the second you relinquish it, keep him at bay. Whatever the case may be, multiple situations and examples throughout. Don Mattingly, where the heck was the team? How is this even a reality where the team is allowed to just determine on your own? How is this even a situation where it's left up to each an individual team? No universal protocol. Look, this isn't the country, all right? This isn't our nation here. There are ways in which you can create universal protocol as far as a sport is concerned and make it last. It's really difficult for me to believe and understand and then comprehend that Major League Baseball, or part of Major League Baseball's plan, was simply to just let the teams decide. Team docs. Well, come on, Shander. All these teams have doctors. Yeah, that's always a source of objectivity. Somebody in-house who is being paid the cushiest of cushion jobs in the medical field to give advice that can be taken and interpreted in such a manner of gray area to prevent any real litigation. But as we've seen, Chow, one of them, and others, not everybody on the level there. And it's easy to kind of get swayed and corrupted, if you will. Major League Baseball dropped the ball by not having a more stringent universal protocol in practice. And that's the bottom line. And there really is no other way about this. Yeah, you can look at it, and not to counter what I'm saying, but you can look at it in a quasi-different light and say, well, they weren't going to prevent anybody from getting it. No, but what they were able to do with a universal set of protocol is not get to this point, is not get to a team, to a skip, or to guys on that team saying, don't worry about it, we can get out there and play. I'm Donnie Baseball. I got this team. Come on, we're in Philadelphia. I'm not going to sit in a hotel on Broad Street all day. What do you want? It's 99 degrees in Center City, Philadelphia. You want me to sit here in my hotel in the air condition and watch the same 6 Vin Diesel movies? that all happen to be in the same movie series? We're going out there and we're playing baseball. And now there's a battle, there's a war about whether or not this thing can even maintain if one or two people get it in the NBA bubble versus getting it in two cities, right? As far as the others, as far as maybe Edmonton, Toronto, I don't know. I have an NFL plan. We'll get to that at some point. Might be today. I hope it to be. I know I'll bring it up with our two NFL-themed guests, with Warren Moon and Mike Martz. Mike Martz, mind you, 18 minutes away. Warren Moon, 50 minutes away. Our CEO, the man who runs and operates Gow Media, David Gow, will join us, 11:40. Sports Map Radio. It's a huge day for me to be back on this day. It's amazing. Now, coming up, and we'll break in a sec, but coming up, I'm going to postpone. We didn't postpone the wedding for this, but we will postpone a Tony Jake or Aton. I have one question about something going on today. Ron's going to help me out, I'm sure. If not, then maybe he'll just throw it out there. I'm sure Asman's still around shaking hands. But I'm also sure, without you giving me one right now, but I'm sure you have at least one question about the wedding. Is that fair?
Wait, you got married?
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad that my life off the air is exactly like my life on the air for you, where I have to prompt you like 6 times. Yes, I'm sure Ron may have a question. If not, then I'll give him one in the break that he can bring up with me.
I definitely have questions.
I know you do.
We got to hit the wedding hard.
We will. And since we have Mike Martz and then Warren Moon and then David Gow, we've bumped our own John McMullen for such a magical day today on the network. We'll get into some wedding stuff next. I'll try and squeeze my NFL plan in. But I do have a question as well regarding Ron and Tony. It's all here at Shander Show, the second level at Sports Map Radio.
Wake up call.
I mean, to be honest, attending a graduation ceremony is probably the worst.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the one moment that he gets his diploma, but I'm not looking forward to hearing the names of the other 300 kids he goes to school with. And do they still do Do they still do that? Is that still a thing? Because that was a thing when I graduated.
I'm almost positive. Sorry, hit me with that again. What?
When you were like in 5th grade and we got you a trumpet and you played trumpet for a lot of years.
Aton.
Tell him this. This is why I quit trumpet. Because I had to go to every single graduation for my high school to be the band that performs this stupid song over and over and over and over again. All these
And not, in an way. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Getting out of that place, and I had to still stay for a couple of years.
Wake Up Call with Tony V and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Introducing AutomotiveMap.com, a brand new website for anyone interested in what's happening in the world of automobiles. From reviews on the latest vehicles to vintage rides to tips on keeping your family safe on the road, AutomotiveMap.com has something for you.
Guess what came
if you
through?
love
My
cars,
medical
trucks,
card.
and SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom, check out the brand new AutomotiveMap.com.
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
Bryson DeChambeau. His swing speed has gone up to 134 miles per hour, where last year it was around 120 miles per hour. So we're talking about a massive increase in swing speed. So much so that pro golfers were going in there or imploring the PGA Tour to not, quote, Bryson-proof the next courses. I'm not trying to accuse Bryson DeChambeau of being a cheater. I don't know. What I do know, though.
Not really.
Okay.
Are we still doing fake news?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what else was being bumped today because it's one of
No,
those.
I mean,
And
I
implement
feel
their
like if
system.
anything,
there's only been
the
3
stuff we
players
normally
who
like. I
have
wanted to
publicly
do the
failed
Tony,
tests
Jake, and
for
Aton thing, but
PEDs.
you know,
The
baseball
PGA
games are
Tour
being canceled
doesn't have
and stuff
anywhere
like that.
near the list
But,
of banned substances like cycling or the NFL.
Yeah, I
when
just
they're
figured
constantly
if anything,
updating,
more
they're
eyes and ears would be on what we
constantly
normally
watching
do.
and monitoring their athletes.
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday after.
True.
Imaging's
Court
changed
Eastern.
up. Huh? Who was the old guy?
Wake up call. I remember as a little kid wanting to be an architect.
His name was Chris something. I don't remember.
Tubbs?
Boring, but
No.
Kids, you had whips and they'd go around to ancient lands and find treasure. I didn't know they spent most of their time with a paintbrush dusting off little ounces of sand.
Or in a classroom teaching hungover college
That's
students.
right, exactly.
Wake Up Call
I'm
with
not a
Tony V
robot.
and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
You're listening to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
Yeah, actually, this is a perfect segment in which we normally go way more than the scores. And I don't know if we've even kept tally for Tony, Jake, or Eitan, but there are more important things happening here because Ron has been bursting at the seams with, I'm sure, multiple questions about many different things that went down on the wedding or maybe leading up to it. So fire away, my friend. The floor is yours. There's nothing, as you know, at least with me, there's nothing off limits. You can put me in as much of an awkward situation as you can, and
Yes.
I'll answer. All right?
Who cried first?
See, I don't know because I didn't see her. The first time that I actually saw her was
when she's walking down the aisle?
absolutely,
Yep,
absolutely.
That'll get you.
And at that, well, I can tell you this: I cried when I saw her coming down the aisle, but she had to walk. She had to walk the equivalent of maybe 60 yards, 50 yards.
Making her work for it.
No. So what happens is,
No. You're making her work for it. That's what you got to hold over. It's like, man, you walked. You
had to
earned
walk,
it.
right? Exactly.
You earned this.
in
as you're
that
pointing
dress
to yourself.
too. Absolutely. No, I think that would be the tough one though. I think she cried first because she had to walk all the way down from the actual
Is that
lake
why
house.
she's crying? I'm walking for this guy.
Yeah,
Come on now.
Yeah, that was probably it.
No. You guys all stand up. You bring it to me.
Exactly.
Can you get a golf cart out there? What's going on?
No putt. They wanted to walk. We do have a putt, but she wanted to walk down from the house. And then what happened is once we got to the area where the procession is right on the lake and everybody was sitting, socially distancing aside, sitting and all, that's when.
How many people did you have? You didn't have that many, right?
No, it's say 30.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
not too bad.
And it's all outdoors and it's on a lake and there's a
Yeah.
ton of breeze and we had tables separated from each other and everybody was in a group when they were able to eat with people that they've already been quarantining with. So it wasn't like, my mom was with my bride or wife's now, family member that they've
Yep.
never met before, anything like sitting across from each other. So it was strategically placed out. But yeah, once she got down to where I could turn around and see all the people in front of her, and I was the first one with my mom to move down, then I could already see she was bawling. She was walking with her dad. So I could already see she was crying. So I'm going to guess it was her. Now, I have no problem with it being me, but that's a
No,
long
of
way
course
around her. I wanted to explain at least why that was her.
Now, did you make sure to have all the flavors of White Claw on ice?
We only had two. We had, and it wasn't even White Claw, okay? Because we were up.
Oh, are you branching out?
I
You gotta
am-
let me know. I haven't branched out at all.
Actually, I think I found a new favorite.
Uh-oh.
I found a new favorite. Now, to be fair, I was in a lake outside of Carbondale, PA, which a lot of people may only know
I
from
have
the office.
no idea what that means.
Do you know where Scranton is?
I've heard of Scranton. Actually,
Okay.
I've been through Scranton before.
I'm sure you've been through everywhere. And
Yeah.
you've at least driven through one, I'm sure, of each of the states in this country outside. Well, even Hawaii. I can add Hawaii there. I'm sure
actually, I did the math one time. I've been to 40 of the 50 United States.
one day we should sit down and see if I could pick out 5 of the 10 states that you haven't been to. But
It's some of them are kind of funny.
I'm sure they are. Up in Carbondale, which is outside of Scranton, which is, outside of Philly, if you will, a couple hours north outside of the mountains. I couldn't find, I went into the store. It's one of these stores where it's like gas station and you buy everything there. It's like and it's not like this humongous gas station that also has 2 or 3 different fast food restaurants in it. I'm talking about you walk in there, it's a gas station and they've got beer and some more beer. So I got the Bud Light. And the Bud Light seltzer was amazing. I got the lemon lime. Wife likes mango, so I got some for her, and we were set. That was it. Is
All
that
right,
it?
now, during the break, you were talking to me about your tux. That you ran into issues. I told you this was going to happen.
My tux is a nightmare. My tux was an absolute nightmare. Okay.
So we're not going to name companies here, but you got your measurements through the same company, right?
I'm almost tempted to name because I get so much of, I'm telling you, anything I've ever seen. Normally when I have to go, I did a TV hit today, right? But it's at home, so I can wear a golf shirt. Normally, when things were normal and I was on TV, I've gone there 3 different times to be outfitted with stuff because I normally don't wear a shirt and tie for anything, right? It's amazing. And I could never pick this stuff out, but I have people there work. Oh, you would look good here. And I come home and now the wife is, oh, yeah, that looks great. I love this. Love this. So that was, I guess, the biggest surprise in all of this is I had about 15 different things go wrong. So let's start with the shirt. When I went to pick the tux up on Thursday, I tried everything on. Everything fit. The shirt fit fine. Okay.
Really?
Everything fit. Yeah, it was great.
All right.
Everything
so
fit.
no issues. So you went there, you tried everything on, no issues.
Right. There was only one small problem with the shirt. There was a problem with the collar that was like ironed wrong.
Okay.
And it
was
not
a big deal.
Well, no, noticeable. Yeah, noticeable.
I mean, noticeable, but something that they can fix pretty quickly.
Not fix so much as just replace the shirt.
Okay.
So what she did, she went and replaced the shirt. Now, I didn't need anything because when I got that tux on Thursday, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't pouring in sugar, carbs, or anything, for a day and a half to where I think I was drinking coffee by the gallon and water, right? Now, I know water weight and all that, but not enough. I tried the shirt on Saturday. They gave me a smaller shirt. There's just no way that I could have gained 10 pounds, 8 pounds, 5 pounds in a day and a half. So the shirt, now thankfully it was, the last thing you saw, right? First thing I put on, but the shirt was
first thing you put on, last thing you take off.
Well,
this is the last thing your new bride saw.
No, absolutely. No, I was already in a jersey by the time, I got out of that shirt. But the shirt was tight and it was tight. It was uncomfortable. And it was uncomfortable to the point where if I sat down, one of the real cheap shirt buttons that they give you, not those things you punch in, it would fall out. So it was a pain in the neck that way. Also, the heels of both shoes were unglued. So I was walking around like a Clydesdale, flopping and clopping around with these shoes. It's like.
So how long before you ditched those?
Actually, because we were on grass once the ceremony and everything was over and all, I wasn't on a deck or anything like that. It wasn't a big deal. But meaning like it wasn't a hindrance, but it was, it was ugly. You could see it. It was definitely an ugly thing that if you were up next to me and I was walking away from you or walking up to you, you would see it. Noticeable. Cufflinks. Here's my dad, right? In the hallway of the hotel. I've got 9 witnesses all out there taking picture and video of it. Comes in this small little plastic bag. Opens it up. He barely gets the second one out before the second one just disintegrates in his hand. It's broken in like 6 different pieces. I didn't even know cufflinks came in 6 different pieces. There's a ball somewhere on the ground. It was a nightmare. So thankfully, one of Angela's uncles helped me out and actually gifted me some cufflinks. So that worked out in my favor. But if I didn't have such a generous family I was marrying into, I might have had to settle for the shirt buttons.
The regular shirt, yeah.
Yeah, you can't get married in shirt buttons. Come on. So outside of that, everything was okay.
So, but the jacket was fine, and I mean that's what's
the jacket was okay. The pants were really difficult because the pants came in adjustable waist, where it was like a 36 to a 38.
Most of them do,
right? So I'm like a 36 in between a 36, 37 to where it came as a 38, and you just had to tighten it. Well, neither my brother-in-law nor my real brother knew how to do this. We had the photographer in the room. He had to put his camera down, mask on, of course, come over and show us how to tighten my pants.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully you were in them.
I was in them, correct.
Yeah,
And
because that's the only way to do it is have your photographer stick his hand down your pants to adjust your pants.
no. I was outside only. This was the limit that we broke for social distancing. There was no skin on skin contact. I made sure.
Well, we'll wait to see the photos come out.
Outside of that, everything went well, man. No issues
20
on her
seconds.
end. It was all on my end. Oh no, I kept stepping on her dress because the thing was,
Well, that's common.
and her veil. I
Yeah.
would step on the veil, or it was
10 seconds.
It was tough, really difficult. All right, we'll shift gears to a much more important person coming up next. Mike Martz is going to join us, talk about what's going on in the NFL, his podcast as well.
Is driving up the worst type of cybercrime, home title theft.
So now you got hit by the outro bed bump.
Yeah,
Deliveries and shop.
I feel like it doesn't ramp, it doesn't tell you where you are.
They can get by taking out loans against your home. The crime is
No
called
ramp.
home title theft, and the FBI is warning homeowners.
No ramp.
Home title lock is how you protect your home from cyber thieves. Your home's legal title is online, where they find it and forge your signature stating you sold your home.
So we need to hit
them.
Martz's
Then they take out
podcast.
loans on your home and leave you in debt. Banks, insurance, and basic identity theft services do not protect you. Home Title Lock does, with a virtual barrier around your home's title. Protect your home now. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And use code SPORTS for 30 free days of protection to help get you through this crisis. That's code SPORTS at HometitleLock.com.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything to start the year right.
Notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
All at amazing prices. This week, 10 packs of Crayola fine tip markers and Staples exclusives Crayola 12-pack markers and 12-pack colored pencils with sharpener are just 97 cents each.
Shop in store, pick up curbside, or order online.
School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/31. While supplies
You
last.
guys,
Limit 30 in store.
talk-
Limits vary online.
You got- how
Website
was
available
Russo?
in most stores.
Hey, not attorney. He was good.
Yeah?
He kept answering questions before Tony could finish them.
What is one of the most common cancer?
That's his shtick.
Did I don't know if you
Hodgkin's
saw my
lymphoma,
text or
and we're
even had
expo-
time, but
I didn't have a chance to ask him about
yeah,
that.
he's
There, the owner of Roundup will pay more than $10 billion
He
to
was
cancer
something
victims
else,
of
man.
Weed Killer Roundup. Call our Weed Killer Cancer Hotline now.
No, that's why he's one of the godfathers.
Yep. Roundup has been one
Awesome
of the
guy.
most commonly used herbicides in the U.S. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and exposed to Roundup,
Is
call
Mike
now.
calling us?
Our attorney
No, I'm calling him.
okay.
for everyday people to get you the compensation you deserve. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and were exposed to Roundup Weed Killer, even if the loved one has passed away, call 800-729-1337 now to see if you are entitled to compensation. But hurry, time is limited. Call 800-729-1337. 800-729-1337.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you.
He's ready.
Awesome.
For. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number 3030.
You're listening to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
So it is a great pleasure and honor to bring in one of the smartest minds to ever work at offense. And you can listen to Mike Martz, the former NFL head coach and mastermind, of course, the greatest show on turf, 99 Super Bowl champion, St. Louis Rams offensive coordinator, on the Run It Again podcast with Ron Pitts, another huge name in the game. And that's at runitagainpodcast.com. Mike Martz joining us on SportsMap Radio. Mike, Eitan Shander, it's a huge day for us, and we truly appreciate you taking a couple of minutes away from whatever you're doing to prepare, I'm sure, for another episode and looking at a ton of film for this season. So first and foremost, thank you for your time. Second, hope all is well with you and yours.
I'm doing well, and thanks for having me.
Pleasure. So let's start, I think, with the big elephant in the room when it comes to MLB and the bubble talk about what the NBA and NHL have done is the NFL. And here is the National Football League kind of awaiting the fall, knowing that they've already pushed the preseason back. How much jeopardy do you think this NFL season is, knowing that Major League Baseball canceled 2 games tonight as far as an outbreak with the Miami Marlins?
Yeah, it's hard to say how things are going to be in another month, but it doesn't look good. There's going to be some sort of adaptation, I would imagine, in terms of the fans and some of these hotspot cities that have teams. It's going to be difficult for the league. I don't think there's a situation at this point where I would foresee the league playing with a full stadium. I don't know if they can do that.
Is there the NFL, as you know, there's so many people involved in the production of a game. And I don't even mean as far as the television or radio production, but actually getting a team on the field and executing a game. There are so many essential personnel, if you will, Coach. Is a bubble or multiple bubble cities? Could you have 4 bubble cities of 8 teams? Could that work, in your opinion, in the NFL?
I think it could, but I think the planning for that and a commitment to that would have had to been done probably 4 to 5 months ago anyway. I think to put that together now would be very, very difficult. It would eliminate a lot of the external contact, eliminating fans and playing in a fanless stadium, which at that point, of course, it wouldn't make any difference really where you played. And it would eliminate all the trickle-down effect of anybody that would have any kind of second-hand or even third-hand connection with the team. For instance, whether it's the parking lot people, to concessions, to the custodian in the stadiums, all those sorts of things. So you have to reduce the number of people that would be involved. And they would have had a plan that, I think, months ago. I don't know that that's in their scope right now.
Looking at where we are right now, knowing the preseason games have been canceled and there's still rookies and vets reporting and getting ready for a season on the calendar, and great if that does happen without any pushback. As a former head coach, as somebody who has worked with a ton of talent as a head coach and offensive coordinator, how do you approach this concern that is clearly grounded and reasonable with, I would imagine, a lot, if not all of your players returning to work without having much of a precedent? It's not like you can look back and say, well, this is what they did in 86 or this is how we handled it in 99. This is brand new for everybody.
It is a new frontier, and I think that you have to take it day by day. You can only worry about the things that you can control and keep them focused on that. I do think the big deal at this point for head coaches would be to have some sort of live inter-squad scrimmage so they can evaluate these young players and some of the free agents that they've signed. Without doing that, it's going to be very difficult to cut the team. So I would imagine you'll see at least 2 shows that are inter-squad where it's a tackle, take them down to the ground, down in distant type situations. You have to have those things to be able to evaluate.
Yeah, it's so tough right now because we've seen the NBA and NHL have the benefit of the majority of, right down to nearly the end of their season. And Major League Baseball right now is kind of struggling through it. The difference, of course, with those sports and the NFL is how integrated this sport is. I mean, it is the DNA. It is the fabric of our sports lives. It is clearly the national pastime, and it is so important. I imagine that kind of works as a double-edged sword in a situation like this, Coach, where you have this need and this push from not only people inside the league, but so many people around the country to get back because it's such a great symbol of sport in this country. But it also might be rushing and the negative connotation of that as well.
Well, it is the pastime of this country, and it has so much to do with the morale of each city that has a club, and in fact, the rest of the country. So you do want to play football. You'd like to get it out there, but at what risk? I think that's the biggest question. With the numbers of players involved and the contact that they would have, it'd be very difficult to put them into a bubble situation. They all have families for the most part, and to be able to make that accountable and make sure that there's not 1 or 2 that break those rules and possibly infect the rest of the team would be very, very difficult to do. It's not impossible, but it would be highly unlikely, I would believe. So it would be very, very hard for all of us to miss a season. I don't know that that's where it's headed, but probably some sort of alteration in terms of the fan base, I would think, in terms of the crowds at games.
So let's look at it with the assumption we're chatting with former Super Bowl champ Mike Martz, head coach, offensive coordinator, greatest show on turf, 99 Super Bowl champ with the Rams. Let's look at it COVID aside. And I know that's difficult, but just for the purposes of what we're doing here, because I would love to get your thoughts on the level of offense, specifically quarterback play, that we are seeing now in this league, especially because you are one of the few names on that short list that comes up as offensive masterminds and one of the best offensive coordinators to coach in this game. So I'd love to just get your opinion on what you see from the quarterback play we have now in the league.
Well, it's exciting. I think one of the things that has come up, aside from the quarterback play, are some of the receiver crews around the league. There are so many good receivers, and with speed and size, that I think that has really affected the quarterback play as well. I think the offensive lines, there's not such a big difference between the line plays as there has been perhaps in the past. But Kansas City was so much fun to watch. But when you look at Mahomes and then you start to dissect the rest of the talent on the team, he's surrounded pretty well with some good talent. And that's not to say that he isn't the best player in the league, because I believe he is. I do think that the tools that are outside now are perhaps different than maybe what we had in the past. I think everybody has some guys that can go deep and big and catch the ball and do things after the catch. The thing that's missing a little bit, I think, is a running game and running backs. And who's to say that doesn't swing back towards that? And I believe it will, just to keep the game kind of slowed down a bit and keep control of the scoring part of it.
Yeah, why do you think that shift or maybe pendulum hasn't swung back to where you do have more of and I assume you're talking about one as opposed to maybe using a third down back and just having a consistent back that can be out there for 3 downs that's not one or the other, somebody that you throw too heavily or somebody you just pound on the ground?
Well, they're hard to find. They really are. So as you go back through history and you look at college football today and the role that running backs play today in college football, it's very difficult to evaluate them on an NFL level and do the things that we ask them to do in the NFL, right? So they're in this no-huddle kind of open offense, and there's not that pounding that they'll take in the league necessarily. Everything's delayed and across the backfield. Not a whole lot that's downhill running that you get in the league, and that's very effective, by the way. So I do think the league will kind of swing back towards that, because you have to be able to win, either run the ball or throwing the ball. Whatever the situation takes, you have to morph to that. And I think the really good teams like Kansas City, they do that. San Francisco, I think, is another team like that. I think he does a great job. Kyle Shanahan does a great job in being able to change gears and win a game however you have to on offense. And I think that will never go away. I think the running game will always be important. I think the really good teams will always run the ball effectively.
I'm curious, outside of health, is there any concern that you would have with Tom Brady fitting in Tampa Bay this year, Coach?
No, I just not so much as health as the offensive line. You know, one of the things that nobody really talks much about is Tom Brady. What a phenomenal player at New England, right? So, but you go back and equally important to Tom Brady is the offensive line coach up there, Dante Scarnecchia, and what he did with that offensive line. And you go back and you average the amount of time he had to throw the football. And this is not a knock on Tom whatsoever, but they did such a phenomenal job of protecting him. I don't know that they can do that down there in Tampa. If they do, then I think he'll have success. Otherwise, because he has slowed down a tick. He can't get out of the way like he used to and do some of the things that he used to do. He's still a very good player, but I do think that they're going to have to really be very careful what they ask him to do in those protections.
Well, let me flip it as far as New England. Outside of health, where's the concern you have for Cam Newton fitting in with New England and Coach Belichick?
Well, I have such great respect for Bill. I think what he'll do, he'll identify Cam's strengths, not ask him to do something that it's going to be difficult for him to do, blend it into the rest of the team, and he will adjust. Cam will adjust to that football team instead of the team adjusting to Cam. That's always been Bill. When you go into that locker room, it's not 10 plus 1. You're one of 11. And I think that's really important. I think that's a very positive thing for Cam. I don't know that Cam's ever been in that situation. I think it'll be healthy for him. This is a situation that he can grow and be protected and do some of the things that, you want him to do. Be a big physical guy and all that. But I don't believe that they're going to ask him to do the things, running the football and being creative in that respect and broken plays. He'll be much more disciplined in his approach. I think that'll help him.
Coach Mike Martz joining us, former Super Bowl champ with the Rams, head coach, offensive coordinator. The podcast again, Run It Again Podcast, runitagainpodcast.com is the website. Coach running that alongside Ron Pitts. Was there a go-to? You need 4 or 5 yards, maybe to Marshall, maybe to somebody else that you knew. And I know nothing is 100%, but there was a play that you could call that no matter who you were going up against, 8 out of 10 times that sucker was going to work.
Well, we did have a couple of pass plays that regardless of the position, everybody, when we would start camp, everybody was required to learn that play. So in other words, the tight end, the fullback, the halfback, the wide receivers were all, and we could formation to where they could run that route and put him in a position. So this one play was always the same, but it was by formation, it looked like an entirely different play to everybody. So we could get the matchups that we wanted. And once they learned that play, then they understood how the rest of the offense, everybody's required to more or less learn it. So we felt very comfortable. It's the Ernie Zampese play. It's 525, that post swing. So it would be Y post or Z post or X post or H post. We could run that post play, which is just a little read play on the inside with the receiver. But we could use anybody and get the kind of matchups that we like.
Got to wrap it up.
Just the bigger guys so we can get the first down.
Coach, can't thank you enough for the time and the insight. And I'm looking forward, as I know we all are, for this game to return to hear more of it as we can at runitagainpodcast.com. The great Coach Mike Martz. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. All right, we'll wrap the hour next.
Pharrell.
If I want to watch a playoff.
Or did he just have to go?
No, I was just, you didn't have to end it right then.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Trying to keep you on time.
Gotcha.
Teams in the baseball postseason, but I do like, if I'm going to have it, which I am, I have no choice because they're stuffing it down our throats, then I would rather see 2 of 3 than 1 game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Into the night.
Our good friend Adam Schefter, zooming with us, Harry. Adam, now what about the first couple of games of the regular season? I mean, with no preseason games, they're not even allowed to scrimmage with other teams. How ugly will the first couple of games of the regular season become?
I think the brand of football that you're used to seeing will be a notch below what we've seen in other years. I think it usually opens the season that way, but what are you going to do? We all love the sport so much that believe me, it's okay. But I think this year it could be the product even more diminished than it's been in previous opening years. But again, what I would say to that is that's the time we're living in. And as long as we have the games, they can play whatever diminished product they want. I don't really care. Listen, I just hope we have football for the season. We'll be happy to see diversion, a form of entertainment on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays. And no college football, who knows, maybe Fridays and Saturdays too.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Headed to Texas to watch your team play, but don't know where to go for that pregame drink? Visit CultureMap.com for all of the hottest spots in Houston, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio. From the most popular bars to those favorite dine-in gems,
Are you
Culture
able
Map
to
has
send
it
me
all.
the
Then
moon
before you leave
and,
town, why not visit some of the best places to shop or see some of the sites?
Mike Martz
Culture
interview,
Map
please?
Haven't I always?
Well,
to do in the city you're
I'm
in.
reminding
So
you.
check out
Got a lot of stuff going
CultureMap.com.
on
That's
in your
Culture
life.
Map.
You just got married, for goodness sakes.
The Jake Asman Show.
I woke up optimistic.
Didn't you miss me?
I woke up excited.
It was only
I was
gone
going to
for
make
a day,
bacon
right?
for the first time in my life.
Can't get rid of it.
Recently, during my furlough, I learned how to scramble eggs. Now, you might laugh at me. Just learned how to scramble eggs? Yes, I was a late bloomer on the eggs. But I know how to do it at an elite level now. So every morning as I get up and prep for this show, I make some scrambled eggs. Well, I was going to make bacon. The eggs were great. Eggs were done. I put the bacon on the pan. I'm like, I got some time. I'll play around. I'll make some bacon. Then I said to myself, you know what? Let me go and get dressed for work. I'll eat the bacon, then I'll go. I had totally
Let's run it
forgotten
again.
that I left the bacon on the frying pan. I come back and I go, oh my God. My
like that name?
apartment smells like it's on fire.
Say it again.
You
Bacon
like that
burnt.
name? Run it again.
Run it again. Is that what you're going to name the horse you're going to buy?
And I dropped the ball.
I'm pretty positive that horse name is probably already out there.
From 9
I'm
to 11
sure, yeah.
Eastern.
Yeah. Prodigy. The real Prodigy.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
It is a fantastic day. Honor to be a part of our inaugural voyage as Sports Map Radio. Huge branding here on the network, and I'm just thankful. That's why, I'm back. Oh, and honeymoon. No. Want to be here for this. Would not miss this. You could barely get rid of me on Friday, and that was pre-rebrand. You think you're going to get rid of me today? Honeymoon for this? No, we pushed it back specifically so I could be on the air with you today and moving forward and continue to prop up an enormous accomplishment and achievement by us here at Sports Map Radio. Now, we do have a couple of minutes. Warren Moon in the second hour, Mr. David Gow in the second hour, fake news in the second hour. Rod's not off the hook there. I'll sneak in a couple because we had to get some wedding discussion in. We bumped Tony Jaker Eitan. I feel bad we bumped McMullen, but who doesn't need to use the instructions when putting together IKEA furniture, Ron? Tony Jaker Eitan.
Tony, because I feel like he's probably put together enough. I know for a fact. Well, actually, Jake doesn't need the instructions. He just needs someone to come over and do it for him.
Well, yeah, exactly. So doesn't that factor in on this?
Yeah, it actually does. As I was talking, I was realizing that instructions don't matter to Jake. A visual guide, a YouTube video won't matter to him.
Right.
He'll need one of us to come over and put it together.
Fair enough. Who has contributed to bathroom stall graffiti? I want you to really think about this before you just blindly shoot out Eitan.
I wasn't even going to say your name. I'm sorry. That was a lie. I was going to say your name.
While I admit at one point I probably have written something on there, I guarantee you that Tony, this is one of those sneak things that nobody would ever think of. Now, again, I'm not talking about something raunchy, but I'm just saying, up there, big. I could see Tony doing that.
Maybe Tony putting a dad joke up there.
Yes, something
I can see
ridiculous.
that. I can see him doing a dad joke.
Yes.
Jake definitely wouldn't do it.
No.
Although Jake, I can see Jake if he's in the middle of an important call, maybe writing a phone number down.
Right. Then you can see that happening.
Not like, for, hey, have a good time, call this person. Just writing a number down so he actually knew, so he could remember it instead of writing it on his hand.
Last one. Who always sees the glass half full? Tony Jaker Eitan.
Actually, that one's pretty easy. I'm going to have to say all three of you guys.
Oh, come on.
It is not. I might be a
What are
cop
these
out, but
cop-outs?
you guys are all positive people.
But we all wear on you, except Tony. I can't
10
see
seconds.
Tony wearing. That's why I think Tony is their answer here, because he doesn't wear. Jake and I are nice, but we tend to wear. That's fine. Warren Moon next, Hall of Famer. All right, man, I'll be right back.
Pharrell.
Coast to coast! If there's 6 games a day of NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, hold on one second. Mavi, can you get my divorce lawyer on the phone, please? Thank you. We're gonna get a divorce because I'm gonna watch 6 hockey games a day, and I'm not even gonna bathe.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call. Hammerhead bat. Never heard of that.
Hammerhead bat. This is pure nightmare fuel.
All right. What is that? Why is this the first time I've ever heard of it?
That's a small dog with wings attached to it.
We should have known about this the second this was discovered. Mosquitoes can't possibly feed this thing. What is
Not
it?
at all.
Not
No, I
Kevin
don't know what it eats.
If it doesn't eat humans, what exactly does it eat?
Anything it wants to eat.
What? kidding.
Well, I don't
My
know
God,
if
that
he
looks like
created like in
Jeepers
real life,
Creepers.
but he's been this. It's been like this thing he's done.
Yeah. Now,
Oh,
you know what? I'm
So-
sorry to do this when you're battling
It's just
insomnia
like
because I know you're not
and
sleeping
then the
now.
name, right? So if I'm
No,
sitting here and be
nothing's
like,
out there.
man, it's freaking hot as hell in here. I am
Totally.
baking.
My bad.
Or it's
Oh, my
bacon in
God.
here,
Saved
right?
it for
Not
after
Kevin
you came back
bacon.
and said, you know what? I got a good night's
Oh,
sleep.
yeah.
Rob.
No,
And you would do
no,
that
I
for
got a
like
story for you
entire
then.
shows
Wake up call with Tony D and Rob.
where you could, yeah, you couldn't say it like
That's
every
nice,
single
sir.
time. It would be like, not this guy. He's, you know,
Now, what's the time difference? in
whatever it
New
would be,
Zealand and
right? Not
Australia?
Kevin Hart.
I have no
and,
idea.
he's out making a new move, and it's just turned into
You
like
can
a
bet on something
derailment.
before it happens.
His whole
We'll
show
know
is derailment. It's
That's
amazing.
typically what you do, is betting on something before it
That's
happens.
usually how it
I'm thinking
works.
about the other way.
If you can figure out how to bet on something that's already happened,
No, it's
like
gotta
it
be
didn't
a-
happen,
yeah,
you
no.
tell me how to do that.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
The second level.
I'm trying to be more conscious about what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, and cutting back beer. And so I tried something 2 weeks ago, and ever since, it's all I drink. Do you want to guess what it is first before I explain it to you? Because you know it's something that if I'm admitting, it's going to be something where people are either going to make fun of me or judge me for it.
White Claw.
Absolutely right. A lemon lime. I pound those things. Think about it. You're out in the hot sun. You're walking 18 and you're drinking cold carbonated seltzer. I have to now be secretive in the drink that I'm ordering because I don't want to be publicly shamed at the golf course for just walking around with 6 or 7 White Claw. Now, does that make me immediately one of these crazy girls that you see on video in the Hamptons? Oh my God, my White Claw. Are you judging me right now?
The second level with Eitan Shander. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Into the night.
You think LeBron, if he wins a title on October 12th, is going to be ready to go back to training camp less than a month later?
No.
And then start the season on December 1st? Hell no.
No.
Hey, LeBron, you just won another championship. What are you going to do? I ain't doing nothing. I got to be back in work in 3 weeks.
Right.
I can't even go to Disney World. I've been here since frickin' July.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Wake up call! Every week they took a Brinks truck and dumped a boatload of money. I keep using that term. I better stop. I better find another way to use it. And
What,
they
boatload of money?
I always say that. That's my catchphrase.
That's not
I know
a
everybody says it, but I always use it. I use it too much.
What are you going to say instead?
I'm going to say shipload next time.
No, be careful.
That's right.
Wake up call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Into the night.
Over the weekend, I wasn't on the internet much. I was just chilling by
Well, you were in a pool.
I wasn't in the pool all the time, but I was playing with the chickens. I was picking eggs, helping my son work on his outboard motor. Yeah, I'm doing like all kinds of
Picking
country
eggs.
things. Yeah, we go every day.
You gather. You don't pick them.
I pick.
You gather
Was
eggs.
this like an egg hunt?
No, my
No,
son
they're
has
chickens.
14 chickens, and they walk around all day, and they're eating everything.
Right.
It's amazing. Chickens roam around, but they know when to go home at night.
They're like
Seriously.
me.
Yeah, they're like Harry.
How many
Hey, it's
people
about
do you
time. It's
think
getting a little
can
dark
fit
out
max
there.
capacity
Let's get
in
the hell out of here, man. It's impossible.
downtown
Chickens
Marriott
go home to
or
roost.
Hyatt
Harry,
or
that's what he does. He goes
Residence Inn?
home to
Yeah.
roost.
And they always say the chickens are going to come home to roost
That's
one
right.
of these days, and they do.
I have no idea. How many rooms are we talking? Video of that where you're doing a show for the chickens.
Because then what I would say is if you have, like, say 300 hotel rooms, then double it.
They're awesome.
Into the
do
Night
you
with
mean?
Tony Bruno and Harry Mays.
Well, are you saying how much people can max capacity in a downtown Hyatt? Are you talking like the entire hotel or just the ballroom?
Dad of 8, the great Johnny Damon joining us
No,
now.
I'm saying,
you were
like,
in the movie.
how many
Fever Pitch,
rooms
but There's
do
a
you
very
think
funny line
are
in the
in
movie where a
Marriott
fan yells
or-
out that
I have no idea.
Residence Inn.
in the league.
People
Maybe 100.
No, that's it?
still pretty good, guys. Just ask my wife. I mean, we have 8 kids.
The Jacobs.
Depends on the city and the location.
Turn.
Jay Farner here,
Largest
CEO of Rocket
hotel
Mortgage.
in Des Moines,
Making the
Iowa.
right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for.
I'm
Call
just
today
looking
at
at Des Moines,
833-8
Iowa
Rocket or
as
go to
a random
rocketmortgage.com
city
to learn
right?
more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing
So-
lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This is a Gal Media property in partnership with Jacob Media.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level.
Let's go. Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network, a show where we go beyond the box score.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Absolutely. Sports Map Radio in effect. Proud, honored to be a part of day one moving forward. Many more to come. And we have been jam-packed throughout the day. And it's only getting busier as Warren Moon will join us in 6 minutes. You hear at the beginning of every program, every hour, presented by in association with Gal Media. Well, that Gal, David Gal, will join us 33 minutes from now, 12:40 Eastern. We have bumped John McMullen, whether he likes it or not. Maybe I could get around Warren Moon. Maybe we could get around Coach Mike Martz, who joined us in the first hour. But this one was a lose-lose. McMullen lost this sucker before he even had the tip, the opening kick, whatever other sports analogy you want out there. NFL, we'll talk about this with Warren Moon. I have a plan. We'll see if it's feasible, if it can work. A lot of people responding to it on Twitter at Shander Show. Also, the marriage did happen. And for those of you who didn't believe it, posted a pic. For those of you who still don't believe it, well, if you're looking live on the stream, twitch.tv/Shander Show, you can see the ring on there. So this is a real, even to the point where Ron Culver grilled me about good and bad things that happened. Did we leave anything out? Was there something you'd like to sneak in as far as another question before we hit the Hall of Famer or no?
No, not really.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the photos, and then I'll be able to judge a little bit more. I haven't seen one photo of you, so I don't even know if you were in the wedding.
No, I don't know if I was either. I thought I was, but again, it was all a blur. I'll tell you, the food was spectacular. The cake was amazing. Everything was, even the Bud Light seltzer. We will talk to a Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever drop back and throw a football. Warren Moon coming up next. And David Gow this hour as well. Fake news, we're jammed.
Working from
Sorry,
home
I
is
thought you said
lining up the
something.
worst type of cybercrime.
I was just counting it down for
I know. I'm sorry.
We're doing it all from home now, right? Working, banking, video conferencing, meal deliveries, and shopping. Cyber criminals are targeting our homes. Actually, they want the money they can get by taking out loans against your home. The crime is called home title theft, and the FBI is warning homeowners. Home Title Lock is how you protect your home from cyber thieves. Your home's legal title is online, where they find it and forge your signature stating you sold your home to them. Then they take out loans on your home and leave you in debt. Banks, insurance, and basic identity theft services do not protect you.
Oh, man,
Home
the statement
Title
from
Lock
cheaters,
does, with a virtual barrier around your home's title. Protect your home now. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And use code SPORTS
Is there anything I
for
need to
30 free
specifically
days of
mention?
protection to help get you through this crisis.
Warren,
What's that?
Is there anything I should
At
specifically mention with Warren Moon?
Would you like to try that
Is
little
he
blue pill
doing
that
anything here on
everyone is
anything?
talking about? Or are you tired of paying outrageous prices for the original Viagra? Write this number down now. 888-505-2666. This is the number to get the
No, nothing specific.
Okay.
You don't have to pay $15 a
No
pill
worries.
anymore when you can get it now.
Yeah, no plug or anything. Just general. Hey, we got a Hall of Famer on the network.
It's for only $99. Never.
Oh, Warren Moon did. That's how that works.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That is too funny, man.
You can ask him if he's gonna become a crackhead.
Not with our boss standing behind you.
Not that kind of crackhead.
What do you mean?
He's up in Seattle.
Oh, is that what they're calling him? No, I know. I know it's the nickname for the Kraken like fan base, the Crackheads.
That's 888.
Yeah, we're trying to get it going.
I had no idea that was a movement.
Ride
We're gonna call the where the Krakens play the Crack House.
of cars, trucks, and SUVs, and the amazing technology
ask him
hitting
about
your
the
favorite
Kraken?
showroom. Check out automotivemap.com.
Soak up the sun with Banana Republic Factory. We've got hundreds of new arrivals.
Why not?
I didn't know he
Shop
was in
summer
Seattle right now.
dresses.
See if he's in Occupy Seattle too. That little no, never mind.
Nearest store or shop
thoughts on the
online.
Kraken
Only
and
at
Occupy
Banana
Seattle,
Republic
sir?
Factory.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number 3030.
Warren's ready.
You're listening to The Second Level Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
Let's immediately go out to the Progressive guest line and welcome in one of the best ever. Just one of the best football players on top of quarterbacks that we've got a chance to watch. Former All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer Warren Moon. Eitan Shander, Sports Map Radio. A true honor and pleasure to have you on, Warren. Thank you for the time. Hope all is well with you and yours.
Hey, Todd, everybody's doing great, and thanks for having me on. And congratulations on the new show and the new name and all that going forward.
Well, that means a lot to hear from a Hall of Famer like yourself, and I'm sure that will be cut up and played everywhere across the network. So we thank you for that plug as well. I am curious, with everything going on right now and the uncertainty, even with Major League Baseball and the two bubble sports with the NBA and NHL, as a former NFL player and knowing how difficult travel and logistics are without COVID-19 hanging over, what can you put into perspective what your kind of approach would be to this season and what you think, knowing and working with so many current to former players as well, how the player approaches a season like this with no real precedent?
Well, I think it puts a lot more responsibility on the player this year because not only are you responsible for yourself and doing everything that it takes to not get the virus, but you also have to be concerned that if you are out there taking a lot of chances once you're outside of that building, you're putting a lot of other people in jeopardy as well. So as the leadership of a football team, me being one of the leaders, that would be something I would be pushing each and every day, making sure when you leave that building, you're doing the right things when you go home and when you're going on with your regular life, because they're going to do everything within the facility to make sure everything is safe. I think the NFL is going to do, everything as far as the distancing inside the building, as far as the testing, as far as anything to do with sanitation and all of that. But when you have all these young guys who a lot of them are single, and once they leave that building at 5 o'clock at the end of the day, you don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to go to a mall, if they're going to go to a restaurant, if they're going to go hang out with some friends. Those are the things you have to worry about. So these players have to be much more responsible than ever before, and it's going to be up to the coaches and also the leadership of the team to keep pushing that we all have to be responsible for one another, or otherwise this season's going to come to a screeching halt because a lot of us are going to come down with the virus.
I know it's a joint effort, as you mentioned, players and coaches, but and you alluded to it, it's really difficult. And as you grow the roster, the chances of somebody, if it's a knucklehead, right? And you probably, I'm sure we all have somebody in the group, and maybe you're thinking of a former player, you don't have to dime them out by any means, that you would be thinking, man, I'm great that the message hit 99% of the people, but I'm still worried about that guy. There is still that level of trust that it almost feels like every player beyond the leader needs to take what normally a coach and that responsibility would be.
You're right, and right now they're going to start out with 80 players. At some point, it's going to get down to the 53 they're going to have for the season. But you have a lot more players now that you have to be responsible for as far as going out there and doing all the right things. And you can look at just what's happened with basketball. They've done a great job since they've been inside the bubble. I think they tested 376 guys last week. Nobody tested positive. But now they had a player go outside of the bubble, Lou Williams. Yep. And he gets the virus, or maybe gets exposed to the virus because of where he was seen, out in the public. So that's something you have to worry about. Now he has to go into quarantine for 10 days, and that's going to hurt his basketball team because he'll miss the first 3 games. So those are the types of things I'm talking about. Is once you get outside of the facility or outside of the bubble, how responsible are you going to be as an individual to make sure you're not doing anything to harm yourself or to harm anybody else within that bubble or within that team?
Warren, I'm curious on your thoughts as somebody who is remaining as close as you are to the game and an ear to the street, if you will, but also knowing how this game has worked from a business and money-making standpoint, playing it at such a high level. How do you think – let me start here. How realistic do you think it would be for the NFL, based on what's happening with the other sports, especially as you mentioned Lou Williams and the concerns of a bubble, to say, let's push everything back. Let's take a month or two, figure out if we can create 4 bubble cities and kick off at the start of January or the end of December. Because as you know, Warren, the country will stop and wait for the NFL to do whatever the heck they want. We'll be there and we'll watch.
Yeah, that would be a tremendous undertaking, I think, though, because football has so many more people involved in putting together a football team. You're talking about, like I said, 80 guys, and then you're talking almost 20 coaches on the staff, and then you've got trainers, and you've got equipment people, and there's just so many people involved that you'd have to put inside those bubbles. And yeah, you said 4 of them. I'm sure it could be done. I don't know if it could be done in the next month or two, because that would be a tremendous undertaking. I know it's been taking a long time just to get to where they are right now in their own facilities. I'm sure there'll be teams that want to be in their own facilities compared to some other teams that probably will get the chance to be in their facilities. So there'll be all that has to be worked out. I just think if these players make sure, and all the people combined in being a part of a football organization or just being much more responsible, then I think it can work. But if guys are taking chances out there, once they get outside of the facility, then we're going to have some problems. So I know there's going to be some guys that are going to test positive, and we just have to wait to see what the NFL's plan is once those guys do test positive and how they go forward after that. Just like baseball is going to have that problem right now with 12, 14 guys testing positive for the Marlins. What are they going to do now with the rest of the season or with the rest of the games?
Yeah, and just last one on this, because I do want to get your thoughts on some real football stuff as well. We're chatting with the Hall of Famer, Warren Moon. When you look at, is it as simple as, hey, we had to scratch our quarterback, our left tackle, our middle linebacker, and our cornerback because we had 4 guys test positive, happen to be that position, and we just move on like, it would be a injury late in the week that would unfortunately prevent. And if that quarterback is Patrick Mahomes or Nick Foles, it's either way, you kind of have to move on.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, because football has so much contact with it, even though those 4 guys tested positive, what about the guys they've been in contact with? It's just a matter of time, maybe before some other guys get it. So it's really a lot of unknowns going on right now because we've never gone through anything like this. The last pandemic was 1918 or something like that, and I don't think the professional football was that big a deal at that time, but I think it's just something that going forward we're just going to have to come up with different strategies and different type of answers to answer some of these questions that have come forward because we have never dealt with anything like this before. So it's going to be interesting to see how this moves going forward.
All right, Warren, I want to build off that word strategy, but in a different sense here. I know that you've mentored and worked with Cam Newton, and it's a new chapter, exciting chapter for Cam in his life up in New England. Let's assume that Cam is healthy, and I think that's a fair, safe assumption heading into the season. What's the best strategy? As somebody who knows Cam as well as you do, and we've all seen, and you watch from a football eye, of course, the abilities for a New England offense to get creative. What's the best strategy for Belichick and really McCown, for that offense to merge with Cam Newton?
I think to take advantage of what Cam Newton does best. That's what you do with any quarterback on any team in this league, I think, is you take that quarterback, look at what his strengths and his weaknesses are, and you try and fortify those strengths. And that's what you put into the offense. And I think that's why you see so many young quarterbacks coming into the league right now, doing well, because these coaches and these offensive coordinators are not trying to force a square hole into a round peg into a square hole. They're taking these kids and seeing what they did in college, what they had success with, whether it's RPOs and different things, and they're incorporating those into the offense. And that's why you see these young quarterbacks having success when they come in the league. So if you know what Cam Newton's strengths are, that's what you incorporate into the offense. You knew what Tom Brady's strengths were, and you did it for 20 years, and you did it great, and you had a lot of success. But now you have a different type of quarterback, so you've got to have a different type of offense. And I think they're smart enough to do that, and I think Josh McDaniels has been wanting to do some of these things. He just hasn't had the quarterback to do it.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting part. I think that's what a great point, and I think it's under-discussed because nobody wants to sound like they're offending or ripping or disparaging Brady, but it's a really good point, which is you have a different type of quarterback with some strengths that Brady just never had and never will have, and this offense could open up and actually benefit Cam. And I know he won the MVP one year, well deserved in Carolina, Warren, but this could benefit Cam in a way that we haven't seen before.
No question about it. And if you look at what Josh McDaniels did with Tim Tebow when he had him in Denver, Tim Tebow took them to the playoffs because he put in an offense that took advantage of what Tim Tebow could do, whatever his strengths were at that time. And he was successful enough to help get them to the playoffs. Same thing with Jacoby Brissett when he played a little bit when Tom Brady was suspended. They changed some things to take advantage of what Jacoby could do, and they had some success and won some football games. So I know Josh McDaniel has it in him. It's just a matter of having the right players to do the different things. If you're a good offensive coordinator, one of the strengths of a good offensive coordinator is to be able to adjust to the talent that you have at that position.
Hall of Famer Warren Moon joining us at Sports Map Radio. And I'm curious on the other side, because I know you have an eye or two on Seattle and the Hawks out there. Your thoughts on the trade for Jamal Adams and how this defense just got bolstered?
I think Jamal is a great player, is an impact player. I think he can be a really good leader on that team, too, because it's a very young team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Not sure if I think I am sure. I think they gave up too much for him. 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick and a really good player. I think that's a lot for one defensive player who's not going to really make as huge an impact as, say, a defensive end or somebody like that. But that is a lot to give up. But I think they feel like that was maybe one of the pieces that they needed on their defense to get them going on the right track. And Pete Carroll's a defensive-minded coach, so hopefully it works out because that was a lot to give up, but he is a great player.
Just quickly, your thoughts on the new name for the hockey team in Seattle? Are you a fan? And it's just you and I talking right now, HOF. I promise, Warren. It's just the two of us. Your thoughts on the Seattle Kraken name?
You know what? I didn't know a lot about Kraken. My daughter had to kind of fill me in with what the whole history of the Kraken was. So it kind of makes sense to me. It's kind of like a sea monster to go along with like the Seahawks, and there's a lot of water up here, so that all makes sense. And I think the Kraken was actually more down in the Tacoma areas where they found one of those. It's like a big octopus or something like that, isn't it? That's what it kind of looks like.
I think
the name fits well with the team.
Okay.
They have a really good little logo. It looks like, and I know they'll do a good job of marketing it.
You lucked out, man. All the squads you played for had solid, legit jerseys and history to the name and all of it in the NFL, right? So. You never had to wear one of those wacky expansion team jerseys and look down and like, man, what's going on here?
No, I was good to be able to play for some teams that did have some history, and I was just talking last week about my Canadian Football League team. They're going to have to change their name from the Eskimos, because the indigenous tribes up in northern Canada, there's something they're just going to have to change right now. So I'm hoping they can keep something that has to do with the double E, because I love the logo. So maybe a name of a team the team would be something like the Eagles or the Empires or something where they can keep the E.
Love it. Last one, because you brought up Edmonton, and it's one of the hub cities for the NHL. We were online looking about a week ago, trying to find the top 2 or 3 things to do in Edmonton if you are up in the bubble. Nobody better than you, Warren, to ask. You spent years up there. What's going on in Edmonton that would be a top 2 attraction?
Probably the West Edmonton Mall. It's probably one of the biggest malls in the world. They built it kind of when I was there, believe it or not, and they've added on to it. I mean, this thing has like an indoor water park. It's got a hockey rink. It's got all types of things that you can do as far as indoor activities. Because if you haven't heard, it gets cold in Canada in the wintertime. So you need something to do indoors, and the West Edmonton Mall has everything that you'd be looking for as far as like an adult Disneyland. You can do shopping, you can do eating, and like I said, a lot of different things for the kids to do. Kind of like the big mall in Minneapolis, but I think it's even bigger than that. So that would be my number 1 attraction there.
This is amazing. Insight about preparing for COVID, insight about quarterback play in New England, and insight about what to do in Edmonton. You could only get that from Hall of Famer Warren Moon. Thank you, sir, so much. Be well and be safe.
Hey, Tom, thanks for having me on, and good luck with the show. And I miss Houston. You guys stay safe there.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll break. It's Sports Map Radio here, and an amazing opportunity and honor to chat with a Hall of Famer and hear Warren Moon's praise for what we're doing here. David Gow is going to join us 12:40 Eastern. We'll hit fake news next.
Wake up call! But the way the NBA
great,
arena was.
It was.
It was good, really good.
Like you were watching an empty arena. It just felt like a game. It is weird that because
you felt nervous about the Kraken question, but that was
no, I had to. You're right.
A little bit of fun right there.
better. What do you think? That again, does the virus just creep in from the vent and just land on players? Like Kawhi Leonard was on the bench and it had Leonard on the like a little sign that said Leonard on the back of the chair. I was like, oh, that's his chair. Don't touch it. You know, you could be filled with Corona. And they were, you know how like you have the end of the bench guys? These were the back of the bench guys. Like they guys that sit on the like third level. Hey, Smith. Oh, yeah, I'm coming. Yeah, I'll be down in a second.
I think Ron Artest would be like, hey, man, last time I was up in that section, I got in trouble.
Right. So I'm looking forward to it.
Wake up call with Tony B and Ron Colbert. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
There's no liners or anything I need to read, right?
No, it's Blue Emu, not here.
Oh, no, right.
Here you got to do O'Reilly.
I wouldn't even talk to my wife ever. Even
what do you mean send you? It's the same O'Reilly read you've been reading.
to bet on. I mean, it's junk food city and betting on football all day. Give me Saturday college football.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
The Jake
I have
Asman Show.
my main email up on my streamer, so
I just got an email from Walmart that this bicycle I've been trying to order, a specific model of bike. I want a bike. I want to just have something to do in the afternoons when I'm free after I do the show. So I'm like, oh, I'll buy a bike. It'll be fun to ride around my neighborhood. There's some bike trails nearby. This will be great. My idea to get a bike started during the quarantine period when I wanted to get some exercise because all the gyms were closed. Here's the problem. Everyone had the same idea. There were
I just sent it to you.
Oh, perfect.
Pick a read, any read.
Got it.
one at a local sporting goods store.
Yeah,
there was a national bike shortage.
Yep.
Just 2 minutes ago.
That's the last one that
I
was
received
new,
an email
right?
that
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll be
good.
getting a new one Wednesday.
Right, that's fine.
I'll be the Lance Armstrong.
Or actually, maybe we'll be sending it out tomorrow.
And hopefully without the testicular cancer as well.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Introducing AutomotiveMap.com, a brand new website for anyone interested in what's happening in the world of automobiles. From reviews on the latest vehicles to vintage rides to tips on keeping your family safe on the road, AutomotiveMap.com has something for you. If you love cars, trucks, and SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom, check out the brand new AutomotiveMap.com.
Nothing from this emergency meeting.
All right, so I say you just, where it says here's Ron, just jump right into O'Reilly.
That's your question.
Fake news with Ron. With all the fake news out there,
Is there a way we can come back with like a little
It's on
bed I can
Shander
read
to
it
give
and
it
then
to
you
you
can
straight.
hit it?
3
moving forward. I mean,
Probably.
yeah. Well, let's try that.
We'll try that tomorrow.
Shame on us.
Spot
for
the
not
fraud.
taking that on.
Here's Ron Culver.
O'Reilly Auto Parts will help make your auto repair, maintenance, and restoration projects easier. It's that simple. So when your car isn't stopping like it used to, the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will help you find the brake parts and supplies you need to do the job right the first time. Now, for a limited time, save 15% when you buy any set of Brake Best pads and 2 Brake Best rotors. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
All right, you ready?
I am ready. Now,
you're fresh off the wedding. You think you got this?
I do, and I was thinking, should we have included Mr. David Gow on this like we normally include John McMullen? Notice he does not get the Mr.
Ooh. Quite possible. I actually could not. That might be a great idea to kind of involve David on it a little bit.
All right, now it's probably too late since we only have 5 minutes to bring him in right now, right?
Well, he's not. Yeah, he's not here yet. The man is busy.
So we'll do it like we used to do with John, where we'll recap the stories, tell him which one Okay, perfect. Let's go. Take it away.
All right, real quick. Story number 1. Elon Musk is challenging Johnny Depp to a cage match after Depp accused him of having a 3-way relationship with his wife at the time, Amber Heard.
This story is ridiculous without the cage match attempt, right? I mean, just take the cage match away. You're telling me that Johnny Depp had relations with...
No. Johnny Depp is accusing Elon Musk.
Got it.
Of having a 3-way relationship, if you will, a one-nighter type of relationship, keeping it clean, kids, with Amber Heard, and at the time would have been, I think, Elon Musk's girlfriend, Cara Devilligi.
But why is
Devilligi?
I thought Musk is the aggressor here.
Musk is the aggressor here.
Got it. So that's what I'm saying.
So he's retaliating because he obviously says no, the stories aren't true. Depp is making it all up.
Got it.
And
Depp
so
just came out one day and said, "This is me.
Well,
this is what I do."
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are going through a very highly public divorce.
Got it.
Where there's been a lot of info shared, and a lot of it we cannot share on this radio.
Got it. All right. Interesting, to say the least. Believable. I haven't seen it, but again, I've been off social for 2 days.
Yep.
Outside
Story
of
number
one
2.
pick.
A seagull ruined a couple's important moment. As the man prepared to propose to his soon-to-be fiancée, the seagull swooped down and snatched the ring right from his hand.
Okay. This seems like it could be out of a movie or some show. Or maybe it happened to a buddy of yours and it wasn't a seagull. It was like a crow or something.
You know, I grew up in, ocean climates.
Right, that's true.
Why would it be a crow?
I don't know. Maybe a ostrich.
Right, like out in the Iowa fields?
No, what would
never
be
been out
native
there.
to Hawaii? That wouldn't be a seagull.
It wouldn't be a seagull. See, you had nenes, albatross.
Yeah, there you go. Bigger
the
birds.
blue-footed booby.
Right. Okay. A nene comes down.
Sandpiper.
Or a nene or a sandpiper.
A nene just looks like a Canadian goose.
Is that what it is? Do they
Yeah,
fly around a
pretty
lot,
much.
or they walk?
No,
around
they actually just stay in Hawaii. They were the smart birds who were probably flying south for the winter. Stopped there and said, "Why are we leaving?"
Well,
We're staying.
I proposed on the shore of Cape Cod, and there are a lot of birds that are flying around there.
Of course.
and no bird snatched the ring from me.
You've never had that happen to you? I had that
No.
happen to me once. Not a
I know
ring.
there's a famous story about a seagull who picked up a golf ball and dropped it,
Yep.
and there was right.
Yeah, that happened. That's
That's
on
what I
camera.
think you probably took this from. Now that I'm trying to think, maybe this is the fake story. Let's get the third one in here because I need to hear a little more.
Number 3, I have a bad beat alert.
No.
A Premier League fan suffered one when he bet on Manchester United's Jesse Lingard to not score or have an assist, only to have it happen, for him to be wrong on literally the last kick of the season.
Wait, so is it just that it happened on the last play, or was there something that impacted it being a brutal
on
beat?
the final kick of the season?
Yes.
Because it's a season-long bet that he had made.
Right.
So he started at the beginning, when the Premier League started was about mid-August, towards the end of August. He placed the bet at that time that Jesse Lingard, who was an offensive player for Manchester United, would not score a goal or score an assist for the entire season.
It is ridiculous. Well,
and
okay.
he had it, and Jesse Lingard scored a goal.
Right.
Literally the final kick of the season.
So my theory in this, if it's true, is that they're not conscious or cognizant, right, aware, if you will, about the bet.
No, well, they might have heard. If you're an athlete, wouldn't you look your name up and say, okay, what are some bets that people have on me out there?
I think it's more like a Rudy situation here, where they're going to put, I guarantee you that final kick, he was put in multiple situations that game. It just happened to go through that final kick where guys are probably like, let's get him a goal. Let's get him a goal.
No,
I
don't think it's that. Well, maybe.
Or let's get him an assist. Like, think about it. It's like when one guy is one assist away from a triple double.
You can't say, let's get him a goal, let's get him an assist. They were playing a decent team.
No, I get it, but
I'd
was
be
the
like
season
saying, like,
already
hey,
wrapped?
let's get this guy a home run. Can't do anything about that.
An assist would be a little easier than a home run. I
7
get that.
seconds.
All right, we will chat with the man who makes it all happen here. It is a huge day for us at Sports Map Radio.
CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right
Oh, I'm
financial
sorry.
decisions has
I
never
thought you
been
said
more
10
important.
seconds.
I did, but then I said 7,
Oh,
5.
geez.
Now, when they matter most.
All right, that's fine.
Mortgage rates are near
Yeah, Mr. Guy will be entering the studio soon.
338 Rocket. And if you need some extra money, a cash out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338 Rocket or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Modern modernization today has the products you need to modernize your workplace, like the Neuro Tiara. Upgrade your brain to the ultimate data management tool by simply deleting less critical information.
Childhood erased.
At CDW, we get a Neuro Tiara won't modernize your data. You need hybrid cloud data services from NetApp that simplify management and accelerate digital transformation to help unleash the full potential of your data. NetApp and IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/NetApp.
Hey, non-attorney spokesperson. The Ted O'Neill Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is responsible for the content of this ad. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is one of the most common cancers in the United States. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and were exposed to Roundup weed killer, you could be entitled to cash compensation. Bayer, the owner of Roundup, will pay more than $10 billion to cancer victims of weed killer Roundup. Call our weed killer cancer hotline now to see if you are entitled to cash compensation. Roundup has been one of the most commonly used herbicides in the U.S. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and exposed to Roundup, call now. Our attorneys have the experience and specialize in fighting for everyday people to get you the compensation you deserve. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and were exposed to Roundup weed killer, even if the loved one has passed away, call 800-729-1337 now to see if you are entitled to compensation. But hurry, time is limited. Call 800-729-1337. 800-729-1337.
This year, biology might be in a third floor lab or it might be in your own kitchen. But no matter where school happens for you, Staples has everything you need at amazing prices. From the latest tech and backpacks to hand sanitizer and notebooks. This week, Apple AirPods Pro are only $199. You save $50 and shop any of our convenient, safe options. In-store, curbside pickup, or order online. School on, save on. At Staples. Ends 8/1/20. Limit 2 while supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
For muscle pain, body aches to strains. Blue Emu.
Yes.
Got it.
Sorry, I was out talking to him.
No, I didn't bring that up on
It's
text.
unique formula.
On down the
Okay.
line. I just talked about it.
But yes. I don't know how else you would introduce him.
I don't know.
The man that signs my check.
And you won't stink. Find Blue Emu at Walmart, CVS,
this woman on
Walgreens,
Sports
and other
Illustrated.
chains.
They
or
put
visit
a pretty thick woman on there. Good for them.
blue-emu.com.
You see this new one?
No.
Yeah.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
It's been a gigantic day for us across the board here on this network. Sports Map Radio. at Sports Map Radio on Twitter. We've had some huge names in the world of sports come on all day, and it will continue and roll on. And as mentioned, as promised, the man who makes this machine work, Mr. David Gao, the CEO of Gao Media, is kind enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here on the program and even offer much needed, mind you, some marital advice that, as Ron Culver will tell you, Mr. Gao, I am a sponge for anything I can get. First and foremost, it's always a pleasure to have a chat with you, and trust and hope all is well with you. And what an amazing day for us all here. Thank you for allowing this and making this happen.
Hey, Eitan, great to be with you. Delighted to be on. And congratulations to you on such a big weekend. That's fantastic. In fact, I saw pictures, you know, the proverbial you outkicked your coverage.
Yeah.
She is beautiful. Congratulations.
You know, what nearly matches her beauty, both in and out, is her patience. And you know that in
She'll
this
need it.
Yes, exactly. And it's not just me, and I can be, you know, just me, but anybody I think that's in this business, no matter, and you host, so you understand as well, but just being in media and entertainment, you have to have patience in dealing with people, ego or not. You just need some patience. So I'm very lucky. Yes, you're right. I totally outkicked my coverage, and I found somebody who is beyond patient. She's an 8th grade teacher, so she has to be patient by nature.
That's a good profile. Absolutely. My father used to always tell me that the key to happiness was to marry a school teacher. And I married a kindergarten teacher, and then she retired, and we had our own kindergarten for a number of years. So I think you've married well. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Well, it's an exciting day all around. And, you know, this thing went off without a hitch over the weekend. Like today has gone on insanely well for us here at Sports Map Radio. We kept it small. So based on what's going on now with COVID and everything, social distance, masks and all, as far as, you know, the gallery. But moving forward, I'll take anything you have for me, any type of advice, knowing I'm already at least heading down the right path with the school teacher as my wife, anything I can get, because I never pretend like I know something I don't. And I can promise you this, I don't know a thing about marriage, and it's brand new to me, literally.
Well, all I can tell you is I've been married for 34 years.
Wow.
And I'm not sure that I know a thing about marriage, but I'll offer you any advice I can. It'll be worth what you pay for it, which may not be much.
Okay, fair enough. Now, what is it? And this has been such an amazing day for us here at Sports Map Radio, and we've had some powerful voices in sports come on, and it has to be a thrill to not only listen and see how this thing has played out today, but also be a part of it on the air.
Well, yeah, today's been great. The lineup of guests have been extraordinary. A really great day for our network to rebrand and go from being SB Nation Radio to the Sports Map Radio Network. We are very, very excited for this rebrand. And you probably know this, but the history of the network is that our company bought an entity years ago that was called Sporting News Radio.
Yep.
And then we rebranded to become Yahoo Sports Radio, and then ultimately SB Nation Radio. And those were great brand relationships. We love being in partnership with Yahoo and SB Nation. But now we've rebranded again, and this time it's a brand that we own, and we will keep, maintain, and be forever the Sports Map Radio Network.
I love it. And that's the difference. It's not subtle. It hits you right over the head. This is a brand that we own. And just, I think some people may not get how important that is, where, as you mentioned, it's great to have partnerships with strong and recognizable brands. But when you are on your own brand, beyond the own freedom and creativity you have, there's so much that comes with it, benefits that come with it.
Well, looking back, the partnerships we've had were focused on a brand relationship. We were called Yahoo Sports Radio. We were called SB Nation Radio. Now we get to call ourselves the Sports Map Radio Network, but we'll still have great partnerships with companies across the sports media landscape. We already do. We've got a great one with Sports Grid, and that has enabled us to bring on Scott Farrell. We've got a great relationship with Jacob Media that has brought in some great talent into the building. And we've got Tony Bruno in the afternoon as a product of a partnership. So what we've got really is, with the Sports Map Radio Network, a chance to partner with many people, because it's not about a brand. It's about content creation, content sharing, cross promotion, and we really feel like we're in a great spot with this new brand.
One thing that stands out that I'm so proud to be a part of Gal Media and what we're doing at Sports Map Radio is the perseverance. I mean, you mentioned you change brands, and that doesn't work a lot sometimes. And as you know, in this business, it can be one station, it can be a cluster, it can be a brand, or even a quasi network to a full network. We've seen where when a relationship or some sort of partnership runs out or runs its course, that's it. But there's been a level of perseverance and survival in this business, which is so difficult, that is commendable, David.
Well, media is an incredibly competitive landscape. And in fact, when we go back at our partnerships, when we first entered into a partnership with Yahoo Sports to become Yahoo Sports Radio, it seemed like the perfect fit at the outset. But then 3 to 4 years later, and this is a while back, Marissa Mayer was the CEO of the company, and she declared she was going to have to sell it. The bloom was off the rose at that company, and they eventually sold to Verizon and have gone on to do great things. But yeah, that was a great partnership in a competitive media landscape that changed and required our moving on to SBNation.com. And then, of course, SB Nation was a great partnership with us, but it sort of ran its course too. I would say over the last 6 to 12 months, there's been nothing wrong with that partnership, but the relationship has been somewhat dormant. And so that led us about 3 to 4 months ago to consider another brand partnership. But then as we looked at it, we just decided we really had our own brand in the building that we could launch, and SportsMap is now the name of the network.
It's awesome. And you mentioned the lineup and the relationships. If it's bringing Tony, myself in through Jacob, Sports Grid, homegrown Gal Media products we have and have had here for a while, you start to look across the network and see the schedule as it starts with Tony D and Ron in the morning through Tony Bruno at night and Scotty in the afternoon, who's just dominating. It's such a huge name. Matt Peralta comes on after. Jake Asman, who is the young CEO, as I call him, because he's going to be taking over the world soon. This is such a different, eclectic group that does such a fantastic job in our own way, but you really have assembled not only a recognizable talent here, but different in each show, which is difficult to do.
Well, it's funny you call Jake Asman the young CEO. I know a lot of people think of him as the next generation Jason Garrett. They have that resemblance a little bit, but
I could see that.
Yes, but to your point, top to bottom, I mean, this is a 24/7 lineup, and to fill up a 24/7 schedule, you've got to have a plurality of voices. You've got to have a lot of talent, and top to bottom, we have more talent on our lineup than we've had ever in the history of the network. And part of it is that we've reached out and created a lot of partnerships. Jacob Media has been a very meaningful relationship to us. Bringing you on was a great uplift for the lineup. Having Tony Bruno in the evenings is an exceptional addition. You know, Tony's an icon in this industry.
Yes.
And yeah, Jake, Scott Farrell in the afternoons, you look at it, Tony D, we love the lineup we've got. And guys like Ron Culver behind the glass right now make all this work so well, and he partners with Tony D in a great way. We really could not be more delighted about this lineup. And of course, what that does when we create that kind of content is build the list of affiliates, the radio stations that carry our shows, and it builds the list of digital content sites that want to stream our shows. And it's a virtuous cycle. The good content begets more audiences, more revenue, more content, and it's just a great way for the network to be positioned today.
Well, Ron keeps telling me, and it's mostly off the air, not
Well, let me
not
just
on the
pause. Whenever you start a sentence, Ron keeps telling
It's
me.
not true, right?
Well, it gives me a few concerns right away.
Well-
but I digress. But please go ahead.
This one gave me concern because he keeps telling me, look, just be thankful I'm here. I had to push for hazard pay in my contract just to put up with you on the third show. Now, I don't know if that's accurate or not. It's the first time I've brought it up on the air, but I keep hearing it over and over again as this recurring theme.
It's just my way of keeping everyone humble.
See?
Well, don't worry, Eitan, he keeps me humble as well.
I could see him keeping the building humble.
Yeah, he does. He walks the halls. Everybody shrinks a few feet.
It's amazing.
I wish that was true, but I know that's not.
Yeah, I could hear David smiling as he said that.
Yeah, he had a hard time saying that. You kidding me?
That's right. CEO of Gal Media, David Gal, on with us. Before you go, we have to ask a favor of you because we normally do this with a guest who joins us 2 days a week, 12:40 Eastern time. It slides over a segment we do normally. But I just wanted to thank you and say congratulations to you, David Gal, Craig Larson, our program director, who allows us all to be ourselves. And that is the most underrated, underappreciated trait of a program director in this business. So thank you both for not only allowing me, but all of us to be a part of this, David. And we do need one thing before you go, but I just wanted to get that and thank you both for this.
Well, let me thank you because your addition to the network has been great for us. I think anybody who listens to your show knows the preparation you bring to bear each and every day. And not only are you informative, you're entertaining and a great addition to the lineup. We really are delighted to have you on the network, Eitan.
That means a lot. Thank you, David. So normally we have this segment at 12:25 Eastern. It's called Fake News. Ron comes up with 3 stories. One of them is fake. And it's my job after listening to the headlines and maybe a little detail to determine which of the stories is fake. So we'll have John McMullen, our NFL insider, come on twice a week, and we kind of carried it over. We thought it would be perfect for you. And this is, you talk about keeping people honest. You're now going to keep Ron Culver honest with his stories because we've got the CEO Culver in front of you, so you better make sure it's tight.
I'm ready, Ron.
All right, you ready?
Now, I guess number 2.
No,
I always tell John
ahead
ahead
a
of time.
guess yet, but that's your guess.
Yes,
number two.
Number two. Sorry.
Okay. Story number 1. Elon Musk has challenged Johnny Depp to a cage match after Depp accused him of having relations with his ex-wife Amber Heard and another woman.
Well, I do know that the relationship happened. I'm going to wait for the others, though. I did not know anything about a cage match.
Me either. That was new to me.
Story number 2. A seagull ruined a couple's important moment as a man prepared to propose to his soon-to-be fiancée. The seagull swooped down and snatched the ring right from his hand.
Well, I'm glad that didn't happen to Eitan.
Thank you. Me too, man. That might have been it. She might have seen that as a sign and said, nah, this probably isn't the guy for me.
All right, what's your third there, Ron?
And finally, story number 3. A Premier League fan, Premier League soccer, I got to keep explaining that to people. A Premier League fan suffered one of the worst bad beats. He had placed a bet at the beginning of the season on Manchester United's Jesse Lingard to not score or assist all season long. Literally on the final kick of the season, Jesse Lingard scored a goal, taking away his bet.
All right, you want me to declare which of those 3 is not true?
Yes,
Fake
sir.
news.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go with number 1. Musk is not willing to get into the cage.
Okay, and Nathan, you went with...
I went with number 2 only because, like you, David, I knew the story, at least the breakup, but not to the point of the added detail. And I thought, well, Elon Musk might be nuts enough to challenge somebody that he knows.
Yeah,
he
just
can't
throw that
physically
out. That's right. He might well have.
Might be, but that it makes sense as you said it. Though it makes sense. I'm locked in, unfortunately, to 2. But let's see what the answer is, Ron.
I hate doing this, Eitan, but story number 1 is true. So I hate saying that the boss is wrong, but the boss is wrong here.
Yeah, well, you're fired too. But
after this fine. Elon Musk
like beating you at golf. Well, what are we doing here?
No, Elon Musk has thrown down the challenge. The fake story was fake story number 2.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened.
Yes.
I just haven't read it anywhere. Now, something similar did happen to me once when I was a kid.
I knew it.
Where a seagull came down. We could go to this place, Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco.
Sure, love it.
And we would go and feed the sea lions. And we just go and get a tray of fish for $1. And my mom got me a tray of fish. I'm sitting there getting ready to feed the sea lions. A seagull literally came down, took the entire tray out of my hand, and then left me a present as it kept on going.
Ooh.
See, you do
Yeah, I
this
was
enough.
heartbroken.
You do this segment enough with Ron, and you get to know how sneaky he can be by taking a story that kind of happened,
right,
and
I
putting
did-
it in here.
Hey, I'm sure there's a story out there where a bird swooped down and
I'm sure
grabbed
there is.
somebody's ring as they were proposing. I
Just didn't happen now.
I didn't find it.
David, thank you so much for hanging out with us and participating in Fake News. And what an amazing day for you, Craig Larson, everybody at Sports Map Radio.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
You got it. We'll wrap the hour next.
Into the night.
That was great. That was really
So we
good,
found out
man.
that white
was awesome.
pros in the bubble are doing
That was awesome.
against some guy
And I got to look for a new job.
Yeah, what are you doing,
store in
man?
Indiana. Put a Myers left.
I sat there. I'm like, oh no. I was flashing up twos. I was, blinking my eyes twice at him. I was winking at him twice.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
His prices
you're
are
supposed to give him the answer
insane.
ahead of time.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralt.
Rex Carpenter covers the Washington NFL franchise for the Washington Post. There were such rampant
He's
rumors
awesome, man.
flying
I've met him a
around. I'm
couple
sure
of
you
times,
guys
and he's
heard
just
about
been
that.
Dude, he's the best boss I've ever had.
Amazing boss. Yeah.
As we're going to put out.
There were some people in the media,
And that's
mostly
the
in
thing,
this
too.
market,
Like, I
that kind of
imagine,
said that early on, and I think
it
that
trickles down
allowed
in the building,
everyone
and
to
you
sort of
see
let
it
their
from Craig,
imaginations
there's
run
that
wild.
feeling
That's what
probably
upsets me the
having to
most.
go.
Yeah,
I'm
I can't say
telling you,
this
man, I've
enough.
worked
These women had the courage to come
places
forward and
that
talk
were
about
either
their
just
experiences, and I
a
feel like in
free-for-all
some ways
or
that
like
is
the
belittled
micro
some
of
of the things I've seen on the
micromanagement,
internet, and
people
that's
standing
just
over your
disappointing.
back.
This is
Hit the
not
break. Hit the
a
break.
nothing story. This is
Can
serious.
you imagine that?
And
Yeah.
I mean, every day.
Con,
Not
like,
when it's a
things
big
to
day.
change with the franchise in that regard.
I mean,
But
on a
please
random
listen to what these
Thursday in the
women are
middle of
saying.
July.
It's so important. And I use the word heartbreaking,
But
but
no,
that's the word
it's,
that's coming back to my mind.
It's really cool.
No, and I love what you said too, like how everyone just allows people to be themselves.
Honestly,
That's exactly what it is. That's why I like it here. We don't really have any agendas.
Right. Right.
It's not the World War Z.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
that
need
was
the
something
fast-moving.
Superhuman.
I remember the first time we worked together.
Right? World War Z zombie.
Craig
I'm the guy you
introduced
bring
me to
because
you
secretly
as
you know
kind of like the
I
APD,
can't keep
right?
up with the rest.
Who?
Like you did a lot of more than just
Why
produce the
you
show. Like
bringing
you
me?
did a lot of imaging and you did some other stuff like
Well,
sketch.
I do nothing with the imaging.
Oh no, I think there was some. You were doing something.
No,
You were doing more than just producing and
I
co-hosting
do.
with
Yeah,
Tony.
I'm like Craig's bitch.
Yeah, so that's kind of how he explained it without saying bitch, but more like an
Yeah.
APD.
Yeah.
So between
I am APD.
yeah, that's kind of how I figured it. But between that and just having,
my kids are playing Nerf.
Yeah, I'm the guy who gets the text messages like from Craig, who's like, I don't want to handle this guy. Can you talk to him? And
Oh,
it's some
nice.
program director in Portland.
Nice.
What up, dude? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
I'll
man.
get that over to you.
Right. Jeez.
Then become their new best friends.
In his room, and he was like a little.
Literally, the reason why I bring that up because we had a program director in Portland who was calling Craig. Then he called me, but I didn't recognize the number. Yes, he kept calling here, but he was like freaking out over the fact that he would call the studio, but he was calling our the office line.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, it just kept going. It kept saying that Verizon wouldn't connect. And I'm like, okay, well, that's your end, man. I don't know. What does that have to do with us?
Right.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
Dude, what are you doing? You're supposed to tell the
know,
boss
you
ahead
know,
of time. Slip him 2 aces to put up his sleeve so he
Should
can win the game.
You know what I should? I had a $2 bill in my wallet. I should have just handed him the $2 bill and said, "Look at this."
At the very least, tell me to guess 3 so I don't look like I'm right and we're both wrong.
You know what he's probably thinking now that he said, though, they were probably in on it together.
I'm sure they're 2 in cahoots. They
Hey,
set him up.
You know what? All I can say, I had a good run at SportsMap.
Me too. We made it one day. You know, they never fire
Oh,
you ahead
well.
of your show. It's always after.
No, it's always after.
If I get a text message or a call or an email coming up from Mr. Larson, I don't know if I can answer it,
I
right?
did just get an impromptu meeting.
There you go. I told you.
5 seconds.
Unbelievable. We're back on Tuesday. Matt Peralt next. Oh, that's great. Thank you, brother.
I had a feeling you were going to go that way.
Yeah. I had the one for the road, all that, but we had to. That was great. All right, this was fun, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate all your help today. We'll do it again tomorrow. I'll get John on tomorrow.
right in on. Okay.
All right, thanks. That's it. We out. See you.